Hello, everybody.
Hi, Scott. How you
I feel
doing?
like I'm giving a seminar in front of all these people sitting there this morning. Congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
Tackling something like this, big undertaking. What made you mad enough to want to?
Pure ignorance, sheer stupidity, and wild recklessness.
You know when you're standing in line for the roller coaster and like you're like, okay, well we're never going to actually get to the roller coaster because there's so many different people in line, and then you find yourself sitting on there like, oh wait, we're on the roller coaster now, it's going up. You're like, now it's going to go down. That's a little bit like
We're still going down.
Yeah, we're still going down. But really, it was that we felt like there was a story here. Tolkien's Second Age has so many amazing events in it, and we started sort of like tapping the ground. We felt like geysers of stories just kind of kept on sprouting up everywhere we looked, and we said this is Tolkien's great untold epic. Amazon was out to all kinds of folks, and for a while it was just sort of a horse race with us doing our thing, and then finally the phone call came and they said, guys, they want you to be the guys, and we were like, oh my gosh, like it's really real now. And then came the challenge of making it, which was the creative adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah, and you're following obviously the books, you're following what Peter Jackson's done and everything else. But when you guys went into it, was it important for you guys to kind of almost go into it with a clean slate to think, right, we're going to tell our story, and hopefully it will,
Yeah, I mean, I think in a way, I would just say, it's not our story. It's Tolkien's, and we just feel very fortunate to have been in a place in our lives and our careers where when we looked at the books, we were like, oh, well, obviously that's the story. And then our job has just been to kind of steward it along in a way.
Yeah, and what was the starting point for you guys? Obviously, you started this before streamers obviously become now a big thing. Did you foresee it always going to stream? Did you foresee it going the way that it's always kind of gone?
I think we all had an inkling a little bit. So JD and I, and also working a lot with Lindsey, we've all come from the movie world and working on what are called big tentpole films and sequels and franchises and everything. And JD and I, at least had reached a point where we were just sort of feeling frustrated with what could get made. We've worked on a lot of movies that didn't get made that, in our judgment should have, that could have been terrific. But it was just becoming, like trying to, win the slot machine. And after a while, we just started getting frustrated and thinking more and more and more about television. The problem that we had was we have appetites for these vast worlds and, huge set pieces and creatures and all the things you get in Lord of the Rings. So we just feel enormously lucky that Amazon had the ambition to do something like this right, not to do the TV version,
Yeah. From a technical point of view, how did shows like The Mandalorian, for example, because of the technology that they've used to kind of not have it as a green screen, to have a kind of complete way, how much of those shows and the bits that have happened in the years between have kind of helped you guys to know, we can now, we can now maybe make what we wanted to do?
We didn't talk about that at all. We really, from the day I joined this project, it was a sort of a North Star value to build as much as we could to make Middle-earth feel lived in and real and practical. And of course, this kind of epic story also requires visual effects, and we have those. Middle-earth beauty is so important in Tolkien, it needs to be beautiful. And sometimes that means visual effects are involved. But we always wanted it to be practical and in camera. And from our creature design, like our orcs, to our costumes, which are all handmade and laboriously aged to be dirty and old, and our sets, which have layers and layers of storytelling and detail, we felt it was important that it be there, and not just for our actors, but for the way it would look in the final frame. Yeah,
one of the great things about the movies is Peter Jackson was able to take experienced actors, but also these kind of up and coming actors, and trust them into being the people to play those roles rather than necessarily being stars. Is that something that you wanted to do as well, that you wanted to cast the best actors that you possibly could, rather than saying, oh, because we're spending so much money, we better go and get this star to be in the show?
No, really, I mean, what's nice is that Lord of the Rings is the star, like Tolkien is the star. And because of that, it affords you really the freedom to just go out and find the best performer. And really, we had two criteria for every role. It was find someone who's an amazing performer, and then find people who have Middle-earth in them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you now, obviously, I talked to so many people at these press junkets about, especially with actors, that they haven't seen the final thing. They're like, oh yeah, I've been in it and I've seen bits, but I haven't seen the whole thing. But some of them have actually seen the series. Have you guys had the chance to sit down and remove yourself from all of your process to just watch it as a fan, or have you still kind of, you're still in your heads kind of tweaking?
I mean, I still have notes.
That's how it is. Eventually, they just make you stop. But of course, we could have kept working on it more and more. But we got to show the cast the first 3 episodes the other day, which was a very special experience. And for us, one of the first times we saw it on a big screen without our own names watermarked across it, as we had worked on it.
And with an audience, even if it was only 20 people.
Yeah.
That was the first time we'd watched it with an audience.
It was a really special moment.
It's nice to know that you guys have to watch it with watermarks as well, because I feel like it's always
You
in
bet.
the press,
Yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
all-
Oh, yeah.
We have a
so
whole
secret.
show that way, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, congratulations again. Thanks so much for your time.
Of course.
Oh my gosh,
Pleasure.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!